Greetings, Earthlings. Today I'm back with a review of a brand new microphone from Razer because gamers, bro, gamers rise up. Is that still a thing? I don't even know. The microphone we're looking at today is the Razer Seiren Mini, which is a USB condenser microphone. If you are interested in this mic, it will cost you around $50. Like always, I'll throw some links down below. Also, in the sake of full disclosure, I do need to let you know that Razer sent me this microphone free of charge for the sake of doing this review. And for this review, I have the microphone connected directly to my Mac. My input gain is set at around 60%, and I will not do any kind of post-processing to the audio, but I may boost it a little bit in post, so check the doobly-doo to see what I diddly did. And now let's talk about what comes in the box. I'm getting too good at this. Major leagues, call me. Of course, you are going to get the microphone. You'll get the desktop microphone stand with this little extension to it. You'll get a 2-meter micro USB to USB-A cable, some documentation, and a sticker. Ow. Then as far as the build quality, it doesn't feel that great, mainly because the body is made all out of plastic and it feels a little bit cheap. The grill is very sturdy metal and I can't seem to dent it with my hands. On the front, you'll find a little green light so you know if it's plugged in and getting power. And on the bottom, there is a 5/8" threading so you can mount this to a standard microphone stand. And also, the microphone is made in China. Then as far as the specs, we have a surprise here. We have a super-cardioid polar pattern, a frequency response of 20 Hz to 20 kHz, a sensitivity of approximately -35 dB, a max SPL of 110 dB, a bit depth of 16-bit, and a sample rate of up to 48 kHz. Now I am rotating the Razer Seiren Mini to 90 degrees so you can hear the off-axis rejection and coloration. We'll continue around the microphone, and we will end at the 180-degree side at the rear of the mic. Continue around the microphone to the second 90-degree angle. Here we are, and then we will rotate and end at the front of the microphone. Now let's see how well this microphone does at rejecting plosives. Please bring pizza pronto. Please bring pizza pronto. Please bring pizza pronto. Now I am right on top of the microphone so you can hear the proximity effect on this thing. About 3 inches off of the microphone with it pointed at the corner of my mouth, and here is how it sounds. About 1 foot away from the microphone, 2 feet away from the microphone, and about 4 feet away from the microphone. Now I am typing on a keyboard with Gatoron blue switches so you can see how much of my voice versus how much of the keyboard it picks up. And for you elite gamers, now I am typing on the sad W keys. I do want to make a quick note about the polar pattern. Since this is a super-cardioid, that means that the dead area, the area of the microphone that picks up the least amount of noise, is no longer at 180 degrees or the rear of the mic. Now it is at 135 degrees. So when you're placing your microphone, make sure the noisiest instruments that you have, whether it be your keyboard or a computer fan, make sure those are at about 135 degrees from the front of the microphone. Now I'm going to go ahead and place the microphone about 1.5 feet away from my mouth, and here is how the audio sounds in a well-treated room. And here is how the microphone sounds in a completely untreated room. Now I want to demonstrate why I typically don't recommend using a provided desktop stand. I will place the Seiren Mini directly in front of me about 1.5 feet away from my mouth. I will tap the desk. You should be able to hear how much of that noise it can reject. And then I will type on my keyboard, and the keyboard is in the dead area of the polar pattern, and that's how much of the noise it picks up. And for comparison's sake, here's how the Razer Seiren Mini sounds on a microphone stand. I'll bump the desk so you can hear how much of that it picks up. And I will type the keyboard so you can hear how much of that it picks up. Now I'm going to go ahead and throw the Razer Seiren Mini into my box of doom, which is an isolation cabinet, and we will measure the noise floor of the microphone's preamp. Now I want to do a very quick comparison between the Razer Seiren Mini and a couple of other microphones on the market so we can see how it compares against its competition. We'll start off on the Razer Seiren Mini. I am 6 inches off of the mic. My gain is set at around 60% on my Mac, and here's how the audio sounds. Let's jump to another USB microphone so you can hear how it compares to that. First up, we are on what I believe is the Razer Seiren Mini's main competition, the Blue Snowball. This is a $50 to $55 old USB microphone, no headphone jack, no nothing. Maxes out at 16-bit 44.1 if I am not mistaken. Same distance, gain is set at around 65 to 70%. And here's how it sounds compared to the brand new Razer Seiren Mini. Back on the Razer Seiren Mini, as a reminder, this is a $50 USB condenser mic with no headphone jack, no monitoring, no nothing. But here is how this sounds. Let's jump to another mic and compare it to that. Now we are on one of my most recommended microphones. This is the Samson Q2u, which is a USB XLR dynamic microphone. The price on this now ranges from $50 to $75, and it's a dynamic mic. 6 inches off of it, my gain is set at 75%. This is the first USB mic so far that also has a headphone jack, which allows for zero latency monitoring and computer playback. But here is how this sounds. Make sure to check the lower third because I will likely have to boost this a little bit more in post. But there you go, USB XLR dynamic mic against the Razer Seiren. Let's jump back to that mic. I don't know how many of these we have done yet, but we are back on the Razer Seiren Mini Pro Plus X10 9, whatever. And here is how this microphone sounds. This is Razer, this is not Apple. Why am I calling it the X10? Here's how it sounds. Let's jump to another microphone. Now we are on the Rode NT USB Mini. This is a $100 USB condenser microphone, headphone jack, zero latency monitoring, all of that stuff. And my gain is set at 50%. 6 inches off. Here's how Rode's offering at $100 sounds compared against the Razer Seiren Mini, which does not have a headphone jack. That's going to be the main difference between the Razer Seiren and all these other mics. There you go, Rode NT USB Mini. I bet you wouldn't have thunk it because gamers like to play tricks on people and they like to prank people, but I am back on the Razer Seiren Mini. Shock. Shock. You're shocked. Act shocked. Here's how this microphone sounds. Let's jump to another one and compare it to that. Now I am speaking into the Blue Yeti Nano, which is a $100 multi-pattern USB condenser microphone. It has a cardioid and omnidirectional polar pattern. I am on the cardioid polar pattern. My gain is set at around 25%, and I am 6 inches off of this microphone. And here is how a $100 Blue USB condenser mic sounds like compared to the, what is this one? The Razer Seiren Mini X something. I'm confused. Let's jump back to this mic. Alrighty, we are back on the Razer Seiren Mini, and I hope this is the last one. Here is how this microphone sounds. As a reminder, it's $50. I'm 6 inches off of it. My gain is set at 60%, and all of this info has been in the lower third. Here's how it sounds. Let's jump to one last mic so you can hear how it compares to that. And lastly, I would be remiss if I did not include a comparison to the Razer Seiren X. This is the big brother to the Razer Seiren Mini. $100, and this does have a headphone jack if you want that in your Razer Seiren. Is remiss? What does that even mean? I would be remiss. I just hear people saying that. But regardless, 6 inches off of the mic, gain set at about 72-ish%. And here is how it sounds. Let me know in the comments down below, which of these microphones did you like the best? Did you think the Razer Seiren Mini was the best value for money? Do you like the Razer Seiren X, the Blue Yeti Nano, the Samson Q2u, the Blue Snowball, whatever, the Rode NT USB? I don't know what I've mentioned. Let me know in the comments down below. Which one did you like the best? Now, as far as the latency of the Razer Seiren Mini, with a sample rate of 48 kHz and an I/O buffer size of 64 samples, we have a 7 milliseconds round trip latency or 2.5 milliseconds output. When we jump up to 128 samples, we have a 9.5 millisecond round trip or 3.7 milliseconds output. And when we jump up to 256 samples, we have a 15 millisecond round trip latency or 6.5 milliseconds output. I've got another microphone to test, but will it end up like all of the rest of all the mics that I tend to hate? Or will I just go and hate myself? Stinky, stinky butts! I have no words. Okay, I know I told you to be shocked just a few moments ago, but now I'm the one who's shocked, because I think Razer has made a pretty good sounding microphone. And first up, in terms of pros, I think the addition of a super-cardioid polar pattern was smart because it will allow you to reduce a little bit more of the background noise if you play the polar pattern correctly and place those loud sound sources at 135 degrees on the microphone. Additionally, the small form factor of this thing makes it very easy to forget that it's there, and that's going to appeal to those who really don't want a microphone shoved in their face. And lastly, this microphone is incredibly affordable for the sound quality that you're getting. And then in terms of cons, my main gripe is the fact that there is no headphone jack, meaning there's no way to get zero latency monitoring and monitor the audio that you're getting out of the microphone. I think that is pretty much essential in most cases. I know some folks don't want it, but it's something that I personally always look for in a USB microphone. Also, the build quality doesn't feel amazing. It's mainly the plastic body that feels a little bit cheap, and I don't like that there's no mute button. I think for streaming or for conference calls, that would be a nice feature to have as well. And now, what are my overall thoughts and opinions of this microphone? On the electric guitar, you're not going to be buying this thing for music. You're not buying this to throw this on an electric guitar cab, but I gotta say, I was pleasantly surprised. It did get a little bit woofy in the low end, but if I was in a pinch and I had to throw this in front of a guitar cab with a little bit of EQ, I was really happy with the tone that I got out of this thing. Then on the acoustic guitar, I wasn't a fan of it. I thought the top end was a little bit too crunchy and a little bit too forward. It was just a bit too top heavy. The low end didn't have enough oomph to it. It didn't sound like it had any body or warmth to it. So on the acoustic guitar, I wasn't a fan. Next up for singing, the main thing that I hear on this thing is that it is very crisp. It has a lot of top end and it is very crispy. If that's what you're looking for, it does that well, but let me reiterate, you are not buying this thing, or I should say 99.9% of people are not buying this to produce music with. they are buying it for streaming or conference calls, and then if you have to use it for singing, I think you can get away with it. You may need to throw on a de-esser, but it is a workable sound. And lastly, for spoken word, the upper frequencies in this microphone do tend to be a little bit crunchy sounding, although that is me being quite critical. In general, I guess they are fairly clear and open sounding. The mids are very uncongested. It doesn't sound too nasally. It doesn't sound closed off. And the low end is nice and controlled. It doesn't get boomy. It doesn't get overpowering. It is nice and clear, and it is very easy to understand what is being said into it. And to wrap up, would I recommend the Razer Seiren Mini? Yes and no. First off, if you're a streamer, I highly recommend you look at another USB microphone that does have a headphone output that allows for zero latency monitoring. That at least allows you to hear the audio you're getting to ensure you're not clipping and distorting and sending terrible sound to your audience. But if you're weird and you have zero desire to listen to yourself, I suppose it could work for that application because for the price range, it does sound pretty good. Also, if you're a musician, I would not recommend this thing. It is not a music microphone. It can work in a pinch, but with the no zero latency monitoring, with the limited bit depth and sample rates, I don't necessarily think that it's cut out for that job either. But then we get to who I really recommend this microphone for, and that is folks who are working from home and need a teleconferencing mic. The reason I'm saying that, first off, it's affordable. Secondly, it is incredibly easy to set up. You don't have to download some software like Blue. You just plug it in, you set your levels, and you're good to go. And for the price, it is a surprisingly good sounding microphone. It does fairly good at background noise rejection, and it is very clear, and it's easy to hear what is being said. And because of those features and those attributes, I think this microphone is a great option for people who are working from home and just want an affordable mic to plug in and get a better sound for their conference calls. All right, I think that's going to wrap up for today, but like I always do, I want to pass a question off to you. Which of the microphones that I compared this against did you like the best? Did you like the Razer Seiren Mini? Did you like the Razer Seiren X, the Rode NT USB Mini, Blue Yeti Nano, Blue Snowball, yeah right, Samson Q2u? Which one did you like the most? Let me know in the comments down below. With that being said, if you found this, I don't know what I'm doing. If you found this video fun, interesting, or helpful, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you hated it, give me a big old thumbs down. Want more videos? Subscribe. Logo down beneath me. Click that thing. And don't forget to click that bell icon as well. If you want to hang out in the Discord server and talk about audio gear, podcastage.com/Discord. And if you want to support the channel and become one of these amazing people over here, you can do so by clicking that join button and joining at the $5 tier or higher. It really does help me continue to bring you these videos. So until next time, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. I'll talk to you later.